Our first topic of the day, guys, is going to be about Back 4 Blood, the game in which a lot of us are really excited about from Turtle Rock Studios, the ones who gave us Left 4 Dead. And this is supposed to be a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, which makes it even more exciting because it's going to be somewhat similar, but also I think Turtle Rock is going to have their own kind of give us their own flavor to what they would really like to see and kind of put together something that I think we're all going to really enjoy in the end. So let's talk about it and everything that we know at this point, guys, about Back 4 Blood. This is an article that was written by Heather Wald from Games Radar. We're going to kind of break it down and talk about it. So let's do it. So everything you need to know about Back 4 Blood, that including, guys, release date, microtransactions, and more. Turtle Rock Studios' upcoming co-op zombie shooter will be a spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead series. Ever since Left 4 Dead 2 was released back in 2009, fans of the co-op zombie shoot-'em-up fest have been hoping for more, and happily, the studio behind it have finally answered our prayers with the announcement of a spiritual successor to the series Back 4 Blood. Turtle Rock Studios and Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment officially revealed Back 4 Blood just a short while ago in March, and Left 4 Dead fans everywhere felt their zombie-killing hearts soar. As a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead rather than a sequel, Turtle Rock have said it is an entirely new IP that will be a co-op zombie first-person shooter of a similar vein. So while it's not actually Left 4 Dead 3, it'll have a lot of similar or familiar elements. And so this is really exciting, guys, because I've stated on the show before that Left 4 Dead has been like untouched for a while from Valve, and I feel like Valve just doesn't really care that much about Left 4 Dead. They care more about Dota 2 and you know, and of course their biggest games like CS:GO. They even are doing Half-Life. Maybe they'll get around to Left 4 Dead, but people have been asking for a Left 4 Dead sequel for so long after Left 4 Dead 2 released, and they just really don't seem to care that much. And you know, Valve just seems like one of those developers that some of those IPs, they just are very, slow to really make anything happen. And the same can be said for even the IPs they have currently. Their biggest games like CS:GO and even Dota 2, a lot of times those games aren't updated that often. And I'm not saying that they don't care about those games, because those are kind of like their bread and butter, but they're just kind of slow in, their development process. So maybe a Left 4 Dead is something that we will see in the future, especially now that a Back 4 Blood got announced. But it might be something we see in the future, but I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon. Turtle Rock, though, is taking full opportunity of an IP that they know because they've worked on it, obviously. And now they're working with Warner Brothers to bring this thing and make this thing happen, in the very foreseeable future. And, even if Left 4 Dead 3 did come out at some point, they're already going to be ahead of the curve because Back 4 Blood would be out. So in a frequently asked question post about Back 4 Blood, the community manager answered a series of questions about the title, but a lot of information has yet to be revealed. What we do know is that it to be a premium AAA title that will utilize everything the studio has learned from developing previous games such as Left 4 Dead and Evolve. We are going back to our roots and at the same time innovating on them. We know we have some big shoes to fill, but we're going all out to surpass everything we've done before. Back 4 Blood is being made in Unreal Engine 4, and given how far game development has come since we saw Left 4 Dead 2, it'll be exciting to see how the next-gen Zombie Fest from the studio will turn out. And then the Back 4 Blood release date hasn't been announced, but it might not be so far off, and that's something that I think a lot of us actually think. We think that most likely the release date of Back 4 Blood is probably sooner rather than later. I think the reasoning behind that is because I think they want to bring this out as soon as possible, because there's a lot of hype building, and a lot of people have wanted Left 4 Dead 3, and so they want to bring this game out as quickly as they can, even though, of course, they want it to be finished and polished, but they want to bring it out as quick as they can, a fully finalized product to the public, well before Valve would even have time to react and, get a Left 4 Dead 3 made at this point. So I gotta say, guys, I really think that what Turtle Rock is doing is they are significantly trying to just take a lot of those people and players away from the Left 4 Dead franchise and over to their franchise Back 4 Blood now, even though they worked on both of those. Something similar that, kind of I thought of was what Riot Games is doing right now, kind of really they are making an aggressive approach to take over esports and just some of these other, genres as we know it, that being like the first-person shooter that's going to be coming out under the codename Project A, which is supposed to be a spiritual successor to CSGO. And Riot Games, knowing them, I just got to say this. Valve they better get it together and real quick, because if they don't, there's going to be serious issues. There's going to be a lot of this revenue and eyeballs are going to be players are going to be shifting to these other games, because we've been asking so long for Valve to do something and they're not doing it. And now there's other developers that are like, hey, Valve doesn't care. Well, we do care. So let's start, tapping into this, fan base. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So it hasn't been announced. So like I said, it's probably not too far off. Obviously, Back 4 Blood, we don't have a trailer yet. That's something that I'll absolutely keep you all up to speed on. I think it's going to be probably, we might see it this year. We may, I would assume we're going to see it this year, and then it'll probably, like I said, the game will probably come out, guys, in 2021 most likely. Maybe it'll be 2020. It's hard to say at this point. But, of course, I'll keep you all up to speed as some more information comes out. Back 4 Blood will be on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, but it could come to Switch too. In the FAQ, the studio confirmed Back 4 Blood is set to hit PC, Xbox One, and PS4 upon release. But folk hoping to pick it up on their Switch shouldn't feel too disappointed just yet. After confirming which platforms it will be hitting, the FAQ also states that more possibilities aren't out of the question, so it's very possible that a Switch version hasn't been written off yet. Also, guys, I think for those of you who do play, on Switch, obviously, I think it's going to initially come out on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, probably. If it's not very far off, they said Xbox One and PS4, so maybe it's not coming to the next-gen console, so maybe it is coming out this year. It's really hard to say, though. I think a lot of it very well could get pushed back at some point, but it really is hard to say. Back 4 Blood will be like Left 4 Dead, but with lots of new features. As a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood will still see you shooting up a lot of zombies, but it also promises to build on that with lots of new features that will set the new IP apart. In the FAQ, the community manager wrote, "You'll be able to shoot up a lot of zombies like in Left 4 Dead, but there's a whole lot of new stuff in Back 4 Blood, which makes it unique." The studio is still keeping very quiet about these new features, but it has confirmed it will not be a Battle Royale game. It will include PvP and a campaign. So I'm kind of glad that they're not doing the Battle Royale thing, but PvP obviously is really important. And obviously we want to, of course, have a campaign. Left 4 Dead included several different modes like survival, scavenge, and the competitive mode Versus. On April 1st, Turtle Rock tweeted out a picture with a whiteboard that had all sorts of silly gameplay features and said only one of these things is confirmed in Back 4 Blood. You can just make out that playable mutation zombies is listed with a tick beside it, and it later appeared on the FAQ. Mutations were essentially modified playable modes, so it'll be interesting to see what's on after. And then, of course, guys, it says that Back 4 Blood, which I think this probably goes without saying, but Back 4 Blood will be set in an entirely new game universe, which I think is really important as well. I think it's important for Turtle Rock to push. Obviously bring us a game that's a spiritual successor, but don't make it in that same, universe, that same world. We want different things. We don't want the same exact types of, zombies and such that we go up against, right? Like, we want to have different types of zombies, different types of creatures. We want things to be different. We want it to feel like a Left 4 Dead, but not like, not like a copy and paste, obviously. Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment president David Haddad spoke about the multiplayer FPS in a news release in March, saying that the publisher is excited to create a new gaming universe built specifically with the large co-op zombie shooter community in mind. Since it's not a sequel, it was given that it make a departure away from setting in the Left 4 Dead games, but we can't but wonder how far it'll stray from the settings in America, and if it will include any subtle nods or Easter eggs to Left 4 Dead. And I do think it will do that. I think it will have Easter eggs to Left 4 Dead. Now, this is one thing that obviously is a very touchy subject for many people out there, right? And that is post-launch content, as well as paid post-launch content. So microtransactions have become more of a concern for players when it comes to the release of a new multiplayer game. As such, Turtle Rock did make mention of the topic in its FAQ, saying there could be additional paid-for content after release, but it's currently focusing on the base game before thinking ahead to any sort of DLC. Right now, we're focusing on making the best, most fun, and exciting game we can. We'll figure out the post-launch stuff later, but if we do have paid post-launch content like microtransactions, we want to do something that the community feels good about. So I think, look, guys, with microtransactions, these are, things that we just have to expect now from, game developers and just from video games in general, because the developers there has to be a reason for them to continue supporting any particular title. A lot of times you can't just go based on pure, amounts of sales as far as your sales go for the base game. Just because, to run those servers and all that, a $60 product, it's just not really, going to do a lot for them unless it's like a GTA, which I don't think Back 4 Blood is going to be on the same level as Grand Theft Auto. But that being said, guys, I also think that you have to look at, we've paid $60 for games for so many years. It hasn't gone up with inflation, so you have to look at that as well. Microtransactions, as long as they aren't, deceptive to the consumer or a pay-to-win kind of scheme that is put together, I think that they are fine if they are done in the right way. So, and I'm totally okay with microtransactions being in games, and I've said this on a number of occasions. As long as it's not to pay to win, and I understand why they do it, because they have to be making money, and it also gives you more opportunities to, connect with that world and buying, whatever, purely cosmetic items. I like the stuff that I can earn in game. And I know a lot of people are like me as well. I never really got into the whole microtransaction thing, unless it's like a DLC map pack or something. But I think, guys, that we can probably, it's hard to say whether Turtle Rock, which way they're going to go on this. I feel like Warner Brothers is going to have some say in this, saying like, look, we got to have microtransactions and, things of that nature. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. I'll, of course, let you all know as we get more information. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Back 4 Blood. Are you guys excited about it? Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that this is going to be the next Left 4 Dead? Let me know what you guys think, and I would love to have a real conversation about it.